Another Acoustic Alternatives from Grove Studios in Ypsilanti, and I just showed my guests around, and they were pretty impressed with the space. If you're living in the Detroit or Ann Arbor area and you need a place to practice your band, do a mix for your album, practice your DJ skills, or perhaps even a podcast, Grove Studios in Ypsilanti is a really cool space that you can rent 24/7. It is a keypad operation. Without them, I would not be doing this podcast. I've said that a number of times. They have given me the nudge, you should do a podcast, and then they've given me the space, and they've been very supportive. I want to thank the whole crew there at Grove. And I want to thank the handful of patrons who've decided to come on with me on Patreon, which helps me pay for the professional video that I occasionally pay for. Today, I'm experimenting with a rented camera and some lights. If it looks a little different, this is me just trying to make it better for you people. And if I had more patrons, I could always hire a professional crew. But today I'm happy to welcome a duo who probably have a Patreon of their own.
Nope.
No, Goldpine does not have a Patreon page.
Nope.
I was hesitant. It was a weird, ask people for money. Okay, that's weird. Ask people for money for something that I enjoy doing already, even if I don't get paid for it. Well, that's weird too. So I tried, and it was the words of Joe Pug, who said it's less than a cup of coffee if you want to give me $5 a month, and if 100 people did that, then I could afford to do a couple of pro videos for the thing. But anyway, not about me. It's about you. The duo Ben and Kassie Wilson, a Nashville-based band, 13 or 14 years married. Did you just say 14? Mm-hmm. Did we just have an anniversary?
In June. Yeah. June 24th.
Because I feel like any of the videos I watched of you guys talking about how long you've been married, it had been a different number, so that's why I was like, "Oh, I think I've been lied to." I just made a quick change, Kassie. Say something just fun.
Fun.
Oh, there we go. I think just the microphone had a slightly different feel to it for a second there, and I wanted to make sure before we continued on that I had you in the mix there. The converted van that you live in, much like my previous guests, Ordinary Elephant, is out in the parking lot. You're traveling home. You've racked up several awards over your careers. So far, you've opened for at least Indigo Girls and Ricky Lee Jones, I noticed as I was combing through your backstory. A new record that you just handed me, which is over there. Oh, I had it in the Rockstar Sign It with the Gold Sharpie. The new album is available, and I'm going to show it to the cameras. There's a camera way over here, too. An album called Two, and this is where probably our focus of music is going to be today, I imagine.
Yeah,
doesn't have to be.
A couple songs on
Yeah.
that.
Okay, well, what would you like to start with, musically speaking?
You want to do Do You Have Me?
Sure.
We'll start off strong right here.
Oh.
This is the first single off the new album there. It's called Do You Have Me?
I got troubles on my mind. I got a river a mile wide. You call me up on the telephone, but you only call 'cause you're all alone. Yeah, I got a few troubles of my own. You say I have you, well, is that what you mean? Do I have you, or do you have me? I can punch above my weight. I can hold on to the pace. You don't even see it now, but someday it's gonna come falling out, and you ain't even ready for the final hour. You say I have you, well, is that what you mean? Do I have you, or do you have me? Change gonna come either way. You can meet me, you can stay. Change gonna come either way. You can meet me, you can stay. Change gonna come either way. You say I have you, well, is that what you mean? Do I have you, or do you have
Okay, holy crap. I mean, I've listened to the song, listening from my computer and the tiny speakers and not the full like CD in the car is how I've heard. I mentioned that. But in front of me is like, it's a tour de force. It is you better save that till the end of the show when you're doing it live because you're going to blow your voice out. That's an amazing song.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So good. Goldpine is the guest today on Acoustic Alternatives. Do You Have Me is the name of the song from Two that starts off the album, and I am happy very much to have them in the studio. Now, we first met as I brought you on stage earlier this year at the Nor'easter Festival on a cold June day.
It was so cold, and we had just flown in from Montana.
We're
and
probably not that much warmer there.
well, not much, but I just wasn't expecting it to be so cold here. And we flew from Montana, so all I had was like a blue jean jacket it was super old and had holes in it, and a tank top.
Oh, yeah.
I was so cold.
Unprepared for
I wasn't ready.
June isn't normally like that in Michigan.
I know.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect it to be.
We're usually like, ready to be warm. And it's usually not quite this cool this early in the year in September and August, too, which we've had weird temperatures. But it was still a wonderful performance, and it left an impression. And then when you reached out to me and said, can we be? I'm like, it's a busy week. I don't really have a lot of time to prep this one, and I'm doing stuff that, but do I want to miss the opportunity? No, I don't want to miss the opportunity.
Well, thanks.
No, I'm glad you guys reached out because it would have been, I wish I'd had them when they were in town because they were playing right in between, like the place that I recorded is between the two towns.
It was so perfect.
Yeah,
it was so perfect.
Perfect storm. So what are you going to do about that? So we're going to focus a little bit on each of you, talk about your back histories. And since Kassie has got the voice that really powers the machine, I think, I hope this is a compliment. As I was listening to the two records, I'm feeling a lot of Brandi Carlile. I'm feeling
thank you.
I'm feeling like if she had to go down and she was scheduled to do a show, you could step in.
Oh my gosh.
And she's one of my favorites.
She's one of my favorites too.
How could you?
It's an honor for you to say that. What a nice compliment. I would gladly be her understudy.
Yeah, that's really what I meant, an understudy.
But honestly, I can't hit those notes. Like
Are you sure? Mm-hmm. What did I just hear a second ago?
She's in a whole new stratosphere.
If she did that song, it would sound a lot like that.
Brandi, I would love for you to do that song.
Brandi, if you're listening, I mean, I have interviewed you twice before. Maybe you remember me. No, anyway, that's...
Thank you.
Yeah, that's a good comparison. I know it's hard. Artists generally probably don't want to be compared to somebody else when they're... We need a point of reference sometimes.
I was going to say, to me, it doesn't really matter. I mean, the thing is, when someone is... They're doing it as a compliment, and they're doing it because they're finding some connectivity to something they already like.
Right.
So to me, I don't mind, and I do the same thing to other people too.
Well, an old story from my past, if you know who David Wilcox is, when I was first discovering David's music, and I was so excited about it, I wanted to share it with other people, like, oh, well, if you like, and you have to find if you like, you'll like David. And if you like James Taylor, you'll like David. And I told him that once. He's like, well, we're not really the same. Like, I know you're not the same. I wasn't trying to say like you're copying James Taylor. I'm just saying that in a category of singers, that's who you remind me of. And if you're a fan of James, you're going to be a fan of David. And so that's the point I'm trying to make.
That's what Spotify does. That's what everybody else does.
Right. I was doing it.
Yeah.
I was doing it
It's
20 years
thing.
ago. So anyway.
You were way ahead of the game.
I know. So you were raised on Pines Road in what city in Alabama?
So I was born in Coleman, Alabama, and then raised in Somerville. And Somerville is small. When I graduated high school in 2000, I don't even think we had a red light.
Oh, my goodness.
So we drove, like it was the country. So drove 30 minutes to Walmart, 30 minutes to the mall. You don't want to forget something.
Gas.
Yeah.
You don't want to forget to get gas in your car.
Yeah. But remember, I remember getting gas for 99 cents.
I do too.
I'm turning into an old person. I'm talking about the good old days. Remember gas at 99 cents?
I do remember
I have my Trans Am. I go fill up for $10 and be like, let's go.
You don't
It
seem
was
old enough to
awesome.
remember 99-cent gas. I don't think you're old enough for that. But okay, if you say so.
Like him.
What kind of things were you doing on those country roads? Good things, bad things?
So my daddy collected muscle cars and would restore them to their original self. And so there was this, when I think of Pines Road, it just makes me smile. There's like this straightaway, like a long straightaway before you take the curve to go to our house. And we would I remember my drag racing down that road. Like
You?
I personally wasn't doing it, but I was in the passenger seat with my daddy or my brother. And I remember I would love it. Say we'd go to the gas station and I'd be sitting in the seat beside my dad and there wouldn't be, it wasn't even finished. It just had the seats in there and he'd like drop it and then it would just throw me back. And I remember as a little girl, I was always like, woo! I loved how it would just, he'd pop it and it would go so fast and throw me. So that's kind of, when I think of Pines Road, I think of just that straightaway and, beautiful too, because it's like you have neighbors, but you can't see them. Like they're very far away. So literally just like country life, country living. And it was pretty peaceful and wonderful and cool to grow up that way. But I cannot imagine living that way now.
Well, what did you do for fun then? You didn't have a phone. I mean, that was that.
I know.
Didn't you peel out over snakes on that road?
I did. We had a lot of rattlesnakes and a bunch of snakes, and so we'd all just peel out over them to kill them.
Well, yes, so they didn't kill you.
So we would save the children that were playing.
Yes, that's what it was.
Yes, we did that. I played softball, and I was very involved in school. So pretty much anything you could do, I was involved with it. And because there wasn't a lot to do, So I was a cheerleader for a number of years and played softball and ran track and just did everything.
And where did singing come into play?
I started singing in choir. I just remember auditioning for choir when I was maybe going into junior high school, and only did it because I liked it. Never thought I wanted to pursue it as a career. Just thought it was fun. Yeah. Another activity to do to not be at home. And I really just liked it. So that's kind of where it started, but never at that. I mean, I'd never crossed my mind that I would be doing it for a living. That's mind blowing to me looking back.
What did you do in between making a living at it, which is hard to do as folk musicians, but I'm using air quotes, and then did you have jobs that you enjoyed that you put on your resume?
Before I did music full time? Yeah. Wow. So I moved to Nashville when I was 19 years old. And
for music
okay. to pursue music. So I started pretty late in life, and I sang at a karaoke bar in Nashville for years. And it was funny because the thing that everybody told me not to do is what I went and did. They're like, don't go sing in a karaoke bar. People don't take you serious and blah blah blah. So I went and did it. I auditioned. I got the job, but I made so much money. And I was blown away. My first night, I sang on a Thursday night, and me and the other girl made $400 each in tips.
That's
and I was
good.
Like,
I could do this.
I've made it.
Yeah.
I was 20 years old. I'd been working at the Body Shop clothing store, making what, I don't know, $7 an hour. I was like, this is amazing.
Right.
So, anyways, I did that, and then I ended up blowing my voice out and had to have vocal surgery at 23. And so then I was like, what am I going to do? So I started bartending, and I didn't drink hardly at all. So I went to bartending school to learn how to make drinks. And then I bartended for, almost 10 years before I fully quit to do music full time. And we've been doing music full time 10 years.
Yeah.
It's working out okay, I think.
Yeah.
I feel like it. For
Grateful.
me as a fan. I heard in an interview you did last year, you mentioned Boyz II Men, Toby Keith, Lionel Richie. I'm like, trying to find a line between those three. Your country soul voice.
Yeah.
That's kind of what developed.
So country soul is kind of what I called it when I moved to Nashville that I was pursuing, because I just grew up listening to like I said, what I really gravitated toward was like Boyz II Men, Montel Jordan, Lionel Richie, Sisters with Voices, and just Aretha Franklin. I just loved soul and like R&B. I just loved it. But my mom and dad listened to a lot of country and all that stuff, and so it was in me. And when you hear me talk, you're like, okay, she's country.
Sure.
And so it just, I don't know, just kind of melded them together. And that's kind of, I was so open to so many different musical things. That's why I just kind of shoved them all together. And I'm grateful for that. I'm glad they listened to everything.
Sure.
Because it really opened my ears to everything.
Well, I threw Brandy at you, but who do you think are your vocal peers in the current music scene? Like
Brandy Carlisle.
But
For sure. Ben introduced me to her music when we first started dating, which was like 17 years ago. And one of our wedding songs was The Story.
Oh.
And I
Special place in my heart for that one.
love her voice. Who doesn't?
Dummies. Oh, sorry.
Right? People that don't know. So I love her, and I love Laura McKenna.
Just saw Lori.
Did you?
At the Arc. Yeah. With Mark Corelli on guitar, Mark Corelli opening. Yeah, great show.
Yeah. I like her.
She writes some pretty fantastic songs, that girl.
Yeah, she speaks to my heart.
Yes. I know how you feel. Well, I'm glad that music found you, even if it wasn't like the thing you decided at 6 years old you were going to do. You found it later in life.
It's pretty cool that way.
It's pretty cool that way. And Ben comes from, it seems like a contemporary Christian influence. Again, if I'm doing my back research, if that's correct, you can correct me, or maybe you say, yes, that's right.
Yeah, grew up in Iowa and listened to, like my parents mainly listened to worship music and CCM, Christian contemporary music. And so I grew up on that in high school and then, up to high school. And then in high school, I guess I started branching out and listening to alternative rock. And Counting Crows was a huge influence on me. And
That first album's a
yeah,
gem.
August and everything after. And it was just, it was kind of a game changer for me, hearing somebody like Adam Duritz in the way that he could emote. I don't know. Sometimes you didn't understand what he was talking about, but it didn't even matter because you just felt something when he was singing it.
I agree.
And I loved that. And so that was definitely a big influence on me. Just that raw feeling in the vocal. Yeah.
I have, generally speaking, a large music collection which has many genres of music in it. And I actually do have a section of contemporary Christian music, a couple of boxes full. Who were some of the ones that you were drawn to back then?
Probably in the CCM industry, I probably wasn't drawn to very many. But that's just what my parents listened to and what was kind of my background. But then in high school, as far as in the Christian industry itself, I started listening to more, I don't know, almost punk rock stuff.
Okay.
So let's see if you know, oh man, I'm forgetting the names of these bands now.
Sorry for the quiz.
I haven't thought about these in years.
It's your life. I thought you'd know.
Well, how about like Reliant K?
Oh, yeah. I've got some of the records. Most of them, actually.
The Supertones.
I don't remember them.
It's like a Christian ska band.
I like ska music.
I just remember
It's all
going
coming back to you now.
in Des Moines as high schoolers in Des Moines, Iowa. There was a place called Frank's House of Rock, and it was a Christian like punk rock venue. And I remember going there and being in the mosh pit, and I jumped. That was the first and last time I jumped off the stage into the crowd.
Did they catch you?
I can't remember. I just remember that yeah. Wow, I haven't thought about this in a while.
Can we please do that again?
Man, if I could have that opportunity, I would do it again. I would crowd surf and yeah.
You heard it here, folks.
All right, good.
Bringing back some memories right now. I love it.
Most of the stuff I was enjoying and still enjoy from time to time is like the crossover stuff, like Jars of Clay and Switchfoot.
Sure, yeah.
Bands that kind of had that. Like we also had a hit on alternative radio, but we're in this world too. So
Yeah.
Current favorite is Need to Breathe. I mean, you can't deny.
Oh,
it.
gosh.
They're so good.
What a great voice
Man,
there.
that guy's voice.
Yes.
I had the pleasure as when I worked in Ann Arbor radio, Need to Breathe were doing a show at the Michigan Theater, and I asked the record label rep, could I have them in the studio? I'd love to have them back. It's been a while since we've had them in. He's like, how about something else? We've got this new project called Wilder Woods. Would you like to be the first person to interview Wilder Woods? I'm like, I guess. Who's that? It's Bear.
Okay,
It was I got to do the first interview for Bear's solo project.
So, okay, I'm glad you bring that up because I'd heard Wilder Wood on Spotify.
Yeah, it's
and I was
Bear.
like, this guy sounds just like Need to Breathe.
That makes sense.
So it's the guy from Need to Breathe.
It is.
Now I know.
He's got 2 records out. Yeah.
That makes sense. I think we heard that on the new playlist, and we said that. We were
Oh,
like,
yeah,
this guy.
man. It's
Yeah,
so
just
good.
Talk to the microphone.
So good.
I can hear you.
Yeah.
I'm not sure everybody else can hear you. Yeah, there's good stuff there. Did you ever find yourself wanting to live the Goldpine music in any other space other than, I mean, where do we put it really? Is it alt country? Is it, you don't need to classify it, but some people want to know where to put it in their collections if they do by genre. So
Well, Americana is the broad
that's the easy
genre
one.
for us. But other people have described us in some other interesting terms like aggressive Americana, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
And someone else said with vocals like a pipe organ, which I thought was pretty cool.
I like that one.
Yeah. I think that was Cassie's description.
Oh, you think they were talking about me, not you?
They were probably talking about Kassie.
I guess because I didn't have the records to look at credits and such. Are you the primary songwriter because you're the guitar player, or do you both write songs together?
We write them together. In fact, did you write a State Sale on your own?
Pretty much.
Yeah, so Kassie has pretty much a full song on that album that she wrote on her own.
Oh.
I have maybe 1 or 2 that I wrote on my own on there, but the other ones were collaborative. Yeah.
And
But nowadays, recently, he's been writing more of them. I don't want to just, I want people to know that.
Yeah, the stuff that nobody's heard yet.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
He's
So
right.
we'll see if we fall off the map after this or not.
I doubt it. But I was just noticing your background didn't really include like playing guitar. You didn't talk about like
Yeah.
that you took guitar. I mean, I didn't ask Ben.
I don't play guitar. I am just a lyricist. So, and I've written since, I moved to Nashville, and I just come up with ideas and, lyrics, and I can honestly sometimes just hear melodies in my head. And so then I just will sing them into a voice memo, and Ben brings them to life. But yeah.
That works. I'm hearing good stuff from the collaboration. How long have you been playing guitar, Ben?
I've been playing since I was probably 13. And what am I now? 40?
Just a couple of years.
So do the math on that one, yeah.
Okay, 27.
Yeah.
That was so
few
quick.
years.
You're welcome. I'm good at math.
I'm not.
At least I'm good at math and not good at meth. I mean, that's if I was going to pick one or the
Much
other.
better idea, yes.
Just saying. Sorry. Sometimes my head goes in funny places. The sound of Goldpine, we kind of talked about the fact that you've got this, Americana tag works, but I also kind of, that alt country thing I hear from looking at your background in music, there's a little Uncle Tupelo, Wilco, Lucinda Williams, Jayhawks in there. Was that stuff you were listening to too at that formative time?
All of that. Well, minus the Jayhawks, even though I love them now, I was listening to the rest of them.
Gotcha.
Yeah, for a while. Yeah, love it. Lucinda Williams, I love her songwriting. I always loved the way Lucinda Williams would repeat a song line, and a lyric line, and just to emphasize it. Sometimes she just says the same line 4 times. And
You
it's like,
stole
that
my
totally
joy.
makes sense.
I want it back. You
love
stole
it. Yeah,
my
yeah.
joy.
And Wilco, yeah. And who's the other one you mentioned?
Jayhawks, Uncle
Jayhawks.
Tupelo,
Uncle Tupelo, yeah.
That's
So,
roots of.
yeah.
Well, you're also wearing your heart in your shirt,
Oh, John
as opposed to your
Prine.
sleeve, because I know he's got to be an influence on what you're doing too.
Oh gosh, yeah. And I wasn't introduced to John Prine, or I was introduced to a lot of stuff when I moved to Nashville. I'll say that.
Yeah.
Because I was in a very narrow musical place when I was in Iowa, and so introduced to John Prine and country music in general when I moved to Nashville in 2006. And John Prine is one of my favorite songwriters.
I hear that a lot.
Just whenever I hear a John Prine song, it's just like, it just lifts my spirits. I don't care what song it is. It's just like, man, it's so good.
If we could take some of the commonly used, my influence is, if you could take John Prine, Joni Mitchell, Bob Dylan, and put them in a room together and make a record, I mean, what would that be? That would be crazy.
Yeah, super songwriters right there.
Right.
Super
So.
songwriter group.
Well, you guys aren't so bad yourself. New record is called 2 to follow the album called 1.
Yes.
And predictably, the next album could be called maybe 3.
Third.
Yeah,
Or
quick.
3, yeah.
Yes. What song would you like to do from which record next?
Let's do, yeah. What's this one called? Thinking About Love.
It has a shaker.
Yeah, Cassie's going to play Shaker. She just started playing Shaker.
I did.
Take lessons for that?
Kind of.
She just got right into it.
Yeah, I think I was
No
a
lessons
natural.
needed.
I was like, although they hardly fit in my hand.
Well, this song on the record is the most country-sounding song. It's got steel guitar, and I love the way that it turned out on the record.
Me too.
It's quite a simple song, just verse, chorus, and then it's done. But the intent of this song is really the big deal for me. We've been thinking about, I've been thinking about the way that we use the word love in our culture in the last several years. And there's just so many instances that we use the word love, but we mean it in so many different ways. And I've done self-inventory on myself and thought about the ways in which I use that word. And it usually always comes back to, of course, the way it makes me feel, right? We love something because it makes me feel good, or I enjoy doing this, I. And, I just wonder what would happen if we kind of got out of that rut of selfishness in this culture. It's always about me. And it's kind of discouraging. So this song explores the redefinition of the word love into what if it was about the benefit of the other person. So this is called Thinking About Love.
I misused, I miss you. I wanted to say that I really cared, but instead I just meant I'd be sad with no one there. I used to think that I knew, but now I understand. In love I would be only when it was suitable for me. I've been thinking about love, and if we really understand it, I've been thinking about love, and if we deserve to have it, I'm just thinking about love. I could take a cue from a friend of mine about how to hold on to what's falling through my hands, but I always end up where I began. I've been thinking about love, and if we really understand it, I've been thinking about love, and if we deserve to have it, I'm just thinking about love. I'm just thinking about love.
just thinking about love. I'm just thinking about love. I've been just shy of understanding love. I misused. I miss you.
Again, sitting across from that, sitting across from you guys doing that music that you do, it's just, it's getting me right there.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. My guests are Ben and Kassie Wilson of the band Goldpine on Acoustic Alternatives. We're in Grove Studios, a studio that has been the home to the podcast since the beginning. Every now and then I'll take it on the road, do it in somebody's house. Actually, my next one, which I can't tell you who it is yet, is presumably going to be in the home studio of somebody you've heard of. That's pretty cool. But every now and then, like somebody plays a piano, I got to go to their house. But most of the time, this is a perfect spot for me to do the podcast. It's comfortable. They're really kind. Grove Studios has a motto. It says, get out of the garage and get into the studio. And it's really affordable, 24/7 operation here. Look them up. It's Grove Studios, Ypsilanti. Cool place to do your band practice, do your mix, do your podcast, whatever it is you like to do. And it's a good place for me to make new friends as well.
Yeah.
Goldpine are here. Iowa is not, I'm not dissing the state that you come from. It's merely an observation.
Great way to start a conversation.
I know, but it's an observation that music is the thing that I identify with the most, and I know a lot of songs. And there's not a lot of songs that remind me of Iowa or even go there, other than Dar Williams' song called Iowa. So since you're actually from there, do you know that song?
I don't.
Dar Williams has a song called Iowa. You need to look that up. And it's a great song. And I would love to hear Kassie sing it, but she doesn't know it, so she can't sing it.
I don't know of songs that remind me of Iowa either. The closest I can get is Omaha.
Yeah. That's
Nebraska,
kind of gross.
kind of gross.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
But Iowa, But we had some. Wasn't there some musicians? Oh, I'm thinking of
John Wayne.
I'm thinking of the actor John Wayne.
John Wayne's
Yeah,
from
that's
Iowa.
right.
Mm-hmm.
But he doesn't write songs. So,
Field of Dreams.
Field of Dreams. Yeah.
Is this heaven? No, it's Iowa.
Are there any other notable musicians from the state that we're not even thinking of?
Oh,
Are you the only one? Are you representing the state?
It's just me. Yeah, it's just me.
That's why I had to get out of there. We lose. I mean, Michigan has a lot of musicians that have left us and gone to other places to become a little bit more well known. But we've produced a lot of music, so
For sure. Yeah.
I'm glad to work in this hotbed of actually the kind of music you guys do. There's a great scene. So
Yeah, we've been to Michigan several times, but just in the last couple times that we've been here, we've realized how knit the music community is. We play the Nor'easter Fest. We played the Nor'easter Fest, and
We just played at Mike's, the Kirby Street House concert.
in Detroit
With
Kirby
Mike
Street
Ward.
House
Oh,
concerts.
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
super cool. Lake Orion tonight, 20 Street, and then Grand Rapids for the first time last
With
tour.
Travis. I think you know Travis.
Atkinson.
I don't.
Okay. You'd love him.
Okay, something I need
He's
to look
another
into.
local.
Yeah, played at Midtown over there, and it seems like just everybody knows each other throughout the state in this songwriting community. And you guys got a lot of festivals going on.
We do.
And it's cool. It's a cool place. So we'll be coming back.
You should move here.
Yeah. Well, we hardly live in Nashville.
I
anymore,
know. You could just park your car anywhere you want. You can leave it here if you want.
Home
we
is
might
where you
sleep
park it.
The online presence, I mean, working out of your home and your vehicle, you're doing such a great job. Your photos, your videos, everything is like super professional. And I would imagine with that kind of professional level that I'm seeing that you'd have a label backing you or somebody like funding you. And I know it's hard to make a living doing what you're doing because you're not going to play to 800 to 1,000 people every night. You get those nights, you get those opening slots, but like you're doing a great job with the resources you have. The point of that.
Thank you.
I don't know where you're getting the resources, but
You're looking at it.
here it is.
We do it.
You reinvest yourself.
We do it.
The commitment that you've made to making it look Like,
Well, thanks.
serious.
You know, we do a lot of work. There's a lot of people who aren't in the music industry who don't really understand what musicians do, and maybe I don't understand what other musicians do exactly. But I tell you what, like, we usually do 4 shows a week when we're on the road, but in between those shows, we are, you know, if we're not driving, if Cassie's not driving, we're always marketing, emailing, we're in the van booking, we're responding to people, we're doing social media stuff, we're making videos, we're songwriting, and it just feels like it's a lot of work. If I was a solo artist, or if Kassie was, I don't know how anybody would do this. Like, to have one person doing all this, it's just not possible.
Were you ever a solo artist? Either of you?
Kind of. We both were, although we didn't tour as a solo artist. But
we're so much stronger as a team, you know, and we allot time daily. Like like if we're not playing a show, we literally work 8 hours and act as if though it's a job.
You should.
And we,
Take it
you know,
seriously.
it's so consuming, and like, I thank you. I'm so glad that you see the work we're putting in.
I do.
But of course, I'm ready for the day when we can have a load taken off and somebody else do it, and then we can just focus on our art, because it's
it's just a lot
it's
of work.
life sucking.
It's not good enough just to be a musician and a good singer anymore. You have to have all the other skills.
In fact, you don't even have to be that good of a musician. If you work hard, it makes up for it sometimes.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
If you know how to get the attention on
And I know.
Well, how much music was released under the moniker My One and Only? How much did you put out before you switched names?
2 full-length albums and several singles. And
Yeah.
then also we had I had 2 solo albums, and Ben had 2 solo albums. So there's tons of music out
A lot
there.
of history, yeah.
Do you ever delve into those back catalog songs as Goldpine?
No.
None
we
of them? Not
don't.
even My One and Only?
Yes.
We have re-recorded a My One and Only song
Okay.
on Goldpine's first album.
Which is, yeah.
Oops. dropping
And
things.
then at the live shows, we do play a couple My One and Only songs, yeah.
Because you've been around for that. How long did you have that moniker? Like 5 years?
Maybe like 7 years.
7?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the name change came. I'm going to say one reason might have been for the name change. When you Google My One and Only, you're more likely to get the song "You're My One and
Yeah.
Only," and it's
Or the play.
And a play.
yeah,
Or
it's not as good of a Google search as Goldpine is.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's the reason you changed it, but it's a good reason.
What's the reason that we changed it, Ben?
So, you know, it's hard to pick a band name.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just really hard. And so when we picked My One and Only, it was a long process of going through names and scratching some. And so we picked My One and Only because of several reasons. 2 artists becoming one, you know, we were solo artists, being married, 2 becoming one, and then our one faith in God. And so, but the only thing that women would hear when the person who was introducing us on stage, now introducing My One and Only, the women would just,
Oh my
that
gosh,
is so
that's so sweet. Oh, you guys are so cute. Oh.
And
So
it wasn't.
You weren't going for cute.
It wasn't. Yeah, cute was
didn't-
not what I was
It
going
didn't
for.
bother me. It didn't bother me.
So that was a big part of it. Yeah,
And
Goldpine.
if it was a mouthful.
Yeah, 4
bit,
syllables in
yeah.
a band name is a lot. So Goldpine is a little more edgy. I think it's easier branding.
Yeah.
It looks cool on
a
merch.
t-shirt.
I was very resistant. I'm like, this is gonna be us starting over. We're gonna have to rebrand. I don't want to do this. And I'm so glad that we did. And it wasn't as hard of as a transition as I thought it would be. I mean, there's still some people out there. They're like, I didn't know you changed the band name, and I'm like, yeah, but it's. I really do like it now, and I do feel like it fits our music better, and I'm glad that we did it. But man, I was really resistant because literally, we was starting over.
Did you lose momentum then? Is that what you're saying? You lost momentum of what you'd built up over the 7 years? Or is it just...
I think that's natural when you rebrand, is you lose a little bit of momentum.
Yeah.
But I think that we have gained more momentum now as Goldpine than we would have if
Yeah.
we had stayed My One and Only.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember which band did the name change and then it actually didn't work out, so they went back to the other name. I think it was
really?
Enter the Haggis, maybe. I forget.
Okay,
Somebody did
yeah.
that. I'm like, well, that didn't work
That's
Wow.
funny.
because no one could
Okay.
remember your new name, and so you just went back to the old.
I do like it a lot, though. I think it's a great name.
Yeah.
And it has such meaning, too, also.
Well, I'm still admiring how relentless you guys are for pursuing what you're doing, because
Thank you.
it's worth doing. I mean, you're making great music, and it isn't what's being heard on the radio every day, but that isn't necessarily what's important to you. What's important to you,
Yeah.
I imagine, is just making great music that connects with people.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what's important.
How did you get the ball rolling and get touring? So, like, I think of my local scene friends. Some of them are really good and deserve to be doing what you're doing, but maybe they're tied to their families, or they're just afraid to kind of take it on the road. What was your, like, okay, we've had enough success here, let's try playing in Grand Rapids, whatever, in any city you want to name. Like, that seems like it's a big step to just go out there and hope people show up, because you don't know who's going to show up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Was there?
So this is a new season, and for us, so we've been doing music full time for 10 years in some way. And we were going out and touring, and we were staying out maybe 1 month at a time. That was pretty much like the longest, maybe 1.5 months. But my mom was sick for about 3 years, and she lived in Nashville, 15 minutes from us. She was my world. She was...
Sorry.
It's fine.
Ben, step in.
It's weird because sometimes I'm totally okay, but anyways, just being transparent, like I never would stay away from her, and I didn't want to. We were so close, and she was amazing, but we ended up losing her 2 years ago, and I never would stay away from her, and I didn't want to, because everything we did, I would be like, this could be the last birthday, this could be the last Mother's Day, this could be the last Christmas. And I can full-heartedly say I have no regrets. Like, I was there with my mama every step of the way. And I wouldn't have did anything differently. And, we had to turn things down or not be able to do things because of it, and it's okay. But when she was in the hospital the last time, I told her, I said, I'm going to go all in now, when we knew she was going to leave us. And I said, I just want you to know that. And so this past year, because people are like, oh my gosh, you guys, this year we're going to be playing over 200 shows this year. And people are like, that's so crazy. And I always can't go into the lengthy explanation like I can now. So I'm grateful to be able to share this for people to hear it. But, we're able to tour in this new season, and this is a new time for us because we can now. And I also don't want to take away from Ben is the hardest working guy I've ever met, and he has done so much work. He does everything for us. Like, he does our booking. We did sign with a booking agent last year, but they only do big shows, festivals, and opening acts and stuff like that. And they're amazing. And it was such an answered prayer. It was honestly exactly, specifically to the T what we prayed for and we got from them. Wow. And they allow Ben to do all the booking that he wants, and they take nothing from him. And it's a very rare.
That is rare.
It's very, I'm telling you, it was straight from the man. And so Ben spends countless hours, and he does so much research, and he is so knowledgeable in this. But what's so amazing about Ben is he's so giving. And any musician that talks to us or asks, he helps them and wants other people to be able to play and do shows like us, and gives, and he doesn't just hold on to the information. We put a lot of years, and he's put a lot of time into it, and it was very, very stressful, because he used to do my booking as a solo artist and then did himself and now does us. But it's just a new season, and so we're able to be out there 200 shows a year because of Ben.
Thanks, Ben.
Gee, I'm right here.
I know.
You're talking about him like he's dead. No.
I know.
Booking used to be the worst thing for me. when I was booking for Kassie for solo, I mean, it was just the worst way I could spend my time. I hated it for years. But it eventually got easier over the years when you would build an Excel sheet and a connection with these venues throughout the country. And so it's gotten a lot easier throughout the years. I'm thankful for that.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good.
He's really good at it.
Well, I might need to take some tips from you. I have a friend I'm trying to help, so we'll talk. We'll talk. All right, before we continue, were we doing 3 or 4 songs? Because that changes how I proceed. Do you want to do 3 or 4 songs?
Whatever you want.
We can do
Do another
3.
song. Oh, If
Yeah.
we're doing 3, then we're going to save it.
Okay. We can save it.
All right.
If you want to
Let's
do 4,
save it.
if
Let's save
we're
it.
doing 4, we'll do.
I like the talking.
Me
yeah.
too.
All right, fair enough. So the new album is called 2. Tell me a little bit about putting this one together. Where did you record it?
We recorded our album 2 mostly at our studio, our house.
Oh, okay.
I moved to Nashville to go to audio production school. Went to SAE back in 2006 in Nashville. And so now we've got the studio in the house, and I've done several projects for independent artists out of that studio, as well as most of our records. I did not mix it, I did not master it, and I did not engineer the vocals. That was all third-party stuff. But yeah, a lot of our blood, sweat, and tears right upstairs in our 3rd floor of our house.
There you go.
Hard-earned money.
I didn't get to spend a ton of time with both records this week. I tried to the best I could, but I don't remember you singing much on the first album. Did you, like, as lead vocalist? And this one, you're much more noticeable as a lead vocalist. Is that a change I'm noticing, or is that
More than one person has said that too.
Really?
Yeah,
I had
yeah.
never really thought about that.
Yeah.
I guess I do sing more lead stuff on the second album. I
Yeah.
guess you're right. Yeah.
just an observation?
Yeah.
That wasn't conscious, apparently, because you're acting like I didn't
No.
even notice.
Yeah, I didn't
Yeah,
really even think about
Not
it.
at all. It just those are the songs that made the album.
Okay.
You know, and so
You wrote X number of songs, and then you went, these are the best ones.
yep.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Good
Good work.
observation.
Thank you. I try to be observant. I noticed that.
So you really did listen to them. Awesome.
Of course I did. That's how you prepare for an interview. You
Right?
listen to the music.
Wow, this is rare.
done.
I like immerse myself in the music the best I can, so I know what I'm talking about. The YouTube channel has, I think, 2. This is an unusual thing as well. 2 instances of the national anthem, which is kind of cool, actually, because I have on more than one occasion, I think twice, discovered an artist that I followed because I saw them sing the national anthem and said, "Who was that?" and got their
yeah.
name off the scoreboard so I could look into them later. One of them,
I love that.
her Facebook post yesterday was like, "Big news! I'm going to be on The Voice." I'm like, "I remember when you sang the national anthem at the Tiger game, and I played you on the
Nice.
radio for the first time, and you recorded yourself reacting to hearing yourself on the radio for the first
See?
time, and now you're
So
going to be on The
That's
Voice."
so awesome.
Look at that reaction, chain reaction right there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but the point of the story wasn't that. It was more that I hope that people are doing the same when you guys are out there singing it. Like, wow, they were really good. I wonder if they have any records, because, I mean, not why else would you sing the national anthem?
I
That's
hope
not
so.
why else. But it's also a good way for people to just stumble into you. They didn't
Yeah.
come to see you.
Yeah.
They came to see whatever team you're singing
Sure.
for.
That was
But
our first time singing it at a game. That was at the Nashville Sounds baseball game.
Yeah.
I think there's 2 different videos with national anthem though. So
Yeah, one of them is probably like us singing it in the van
in our
or
van.
at the
Something
house.
like that,
It was that was our
audition.
yep.
probably.
We've used that for a
Yeah, yeah.
submission video.
Yeah, I think the Detroit Tigers require that now. They weren't before; they had just had some other system. But now you have to send them a video like that in order to
Yep.
be considered for the national anthem. Like, well, all right, fine.
Yeah.
Why can't you just trust me? But anyway,
Yeah, I'm good.
I'm good. Seriously,
promise.
you don't
I'm
want
doing
me.
great.
I also discovered that along the way there has been some missionary work, and I admire that. I don't, because I've never done it. Don't know how costly that is to an individual who is doing it. Like to just put themselves out there to do that. Like, instead of making your living for 2 months or however long you're on your mission trip,
Yeah.
like you have to give up everything to do that. So tell me a little bit about that. And Ben almost dying, we can include that in there if you'd like. I don't
How'd you
like
know
that
about that?
because I read.
Yeah, we've been to Rwanda, Africa 7 times, and we first started going on mission trips. And those trips were through an organization that would focus on visiting particular orphanages. And we would go each time that we would go, we would visit the same orphanages and see almost all the same kids. And so throughout those 7 years, we've been able to kind of build a relationship with a lot of kids in Rwanda, which is super cool. rather than just going like one place 1 year and a total another place another year. We're still in contact with a lot of these kids. In fact, we started sponsoring one of the kids in the orphanage starting the second year that we went back, and we've sponsored her for 10 years. Her name is Kevine. She's about 16 years old now. And I would say our trips to Rwanda is a marker in our lives, like a life-changing marker in our lives, because I had never experienced another culture like that, and it really just shifted things. It shook my life, I think, and like thinking about priorities and thinking about the way that other people around the world think about careers and jobs and money and community in a way that maybe I hadn't experienced it before. It just shook everything about me, honestly. And I don't know, do you feel that same way?
Yeah, I mean, it shifted our mindset. And I mean, clearly it was impactful. We went back 6 more times. And each time we would go, we spend a month over there. And then we ended up also going to Uganda, and we have a sponsor son there too. And we work with a couple different organizations and ministries there. And we've been able to do like youth conferences, and in Uganda, free youth conferences, and giving them music and touring with other musicians, local musicians, teaching on sex ed, teaching on hygiene, all these things. And working with the Benjamin House, which is the sponsorship it's so hard for me. Why is that word so hard? Reunification, family reunification, and words are hard. Just sing, but yeah, it's impacted us huge. And you know, we don't have children of our own. I can't have kids either because of some stuff. But it's cool to have kids that are your kids in other countries.
Yeah, there's there's been a pushback on short-term missions just because it's a short-term thing. You're there for a little while, and then you're gone. It's cool that we've been able to go back 7 times and at least be that much a part of these kids' lives and our sponsor kids' life.
Yeah.
You know, 7 times going over there and spending a couple days with her.
How long are your tips typically when you go?
We would generally stay over there 4 weeks or so. Yeah.
Well, I think you've earned a lot of karma points, if nothing else, and I know you don't do it for that, but you deserve to be having success. If you're good to people, people should be good to you, and that should work.
Well,
in my world, that should work. Because maybe I'm a little idealistic in that way. But you almost died, so
I did, yeah. Yep. So one day while we were in Rwanda, we were visiting a ministry with a kids ministry over there, if you will. And in the middle of the day, I started feeling like my body, like I had been drugged or something. Like my body was all of a sudden getting very weak and like, what's going on? It's like really fast. And so we finish up what we're doing at the ministry, and we get to the hotel, and you know, I have a high temperature and low blood pressure, although we didn't know the low blood pressure until later, but that was what was happening. And so I'm thinking, you know, I'm a very healthy guy. I hardly ever get sick, and I bounce back really fast. And so I probably just sleep this off.
That's probably what I would have done.
Probably the good idea, you're right. So, you know, I take a Tylenol and hope for the fever to go down and lay in bed for a while. And then I wake up a little bit later, and the fever is higher than it was before. And now we're trying to call our translator because they're the one that transports us around Rwanda. We don't have any transportation. But it's late at night now, and the translator's not answering. Turns out she was in bed, her phone was like in another room, right? And so they don't have voicemail in Rwanda. And so we're just trying to call, and you know, and I'm in my mind thinking, well, I can just sleep this off. You know, it's pretty normal for me to get better quickly. And so, by the grace of God, definitely by the grace of God, maybe 45 minutes later, our translator I don't know if she just woke up and walked into another room, looked at her phone, saw that we had called us back. And it's a amazing thing that she did, because when she heard what was going on, she right away drove to us, brought us to a clinic that was open at that time that she had worked with. And I was going in and out of consciousness at that time in the van, and I remember Kassie and the translator's husband. There's one on each side, and they're dragging me up the steps to the clinic because it's on the second level. And I'm in and out of consciousness. I remember seeing my feet like drag up the steps and into the clinic, put me down on these rainbow bright sheets on this clinic's bed, dirty bed, looking up, seeing electrical wires just running everywhere with like a light bulb hanging from a wire, like that type of thing. And
It sounds like a movie.
It was like a
it was
movie.
pretty nuts. Cassie's pretty much going nuts because
No
she
one
doesn't know
spoke
what's
English.
happening.
I don't-
And
yeah.
it turns out that I had acquired typhoid
Oh, goody.
and
Yeah.
high temperature, low blood pressure, throwing up things. The clinic's trying to give me things but I'm not keeping them down because I'm throwing
And
them
another
up.
thing too is they could only, because it was a clinic, not a hospital, they couldn't give you anything through
Injection.
inject.
Yeah.
So that was the problem.
Yeah, so just trying to do oral stuff.
Yeah.
The one eerie part about it is that when I was laying there on the rainbow bright sheets, and our translator, her husband, and Kassie was in the room, tiny room, little tiny room.
Yeah.
There
of
was
the
an
bathroom.
eerie quietness about the translator and her husband and the doctors, and then just eerie quietness. And when I pulled through after that night, the quietness had happened because the doctors thought that they wanted to transfer me to the hospital, the actual hospital, but they thought that I would die on the transportation to the hospital. And so the quietness was about, people probably thought I was about to die
But they wouldn't.
thought I
they
was
wouldn't
gonna
translate
die
and tell me anything.
in that room. And the doctor also said that if I hadn't have come into the clinic that night and I tried to sleep it off, that I probably would have died in my sleep. And so I just thank God that the translator called us back at that time, you know. I mean, wow. A funny thing about what happened was the clinic was on a second floor. It was like a weekend night, a Friday night or something like that, late at night. And on the first floor was a dance club. This is Rwanda.
This is
Okay.
And so all I can hear when I'm possibly about to die is people just having the time of their life downstairs.
And it was like-
just EDM music.
Ben's about to go. Ben's about to go.
It really is how it was.
Oh my God.
That's all you could
That's
hear.
crazy.
But
So
he's here.
I
Yes,
pulled
he
through
is.
on that night and made it back. So
I'm glad, because now I get to meet you and
Yeah.
get to know you. And I'm sorry I made you cry twice now. That's a first. Making my guest cry.
It's probably because I'm in menopause. But
Maybe, but sorry, wasn't my intention. Just
no,
seemed like a story worth telling, and
it is. It
he's
is.
still here.
it was
good.
nuts.
Let's flip the subject to something more positive. I was watching another interview of yours that you did with somebody or another, and caught off guard completely by one of your answers, and I shared it, and they were like, "Oh my God, we had no idea." You're going to find out tonight, but I shared 20 Front Street, that you picked them as a venue that, when you think of venues you really liked playing, that you like, this is a place that you love going to. Like, what is it about that place that you love? Because I love it there too. It's just, you know, it's an hour for me to get there, but I don't care. I'll go there if it's somebody I want to see.
You want to answer that one?
No, you can. I mean, you can. We've only played there once.
We played there one
And
time.
it was that impactful?
Yep.
And
you
tonight
threw-
is the second
Tonight's the
time we'll be
second
there.
time.
We love venues that are like 100 to 150 people size. And that particular one is just set up so well with the stadium style, you know, pews, totally ornate wood around. So everything just feels natural, warm, purposeful. I mean, it's like a mini Ryman Auditorium
Yeah.
over there. And the owners were the kindest owners,
Ever.
and the people that worked there were the best of most venues that we ever go to.
I know.
Coming in the back, being so considerate, not being in a hurry for things, not being businessy. I mean, it was just,
So present.
yeah.
And for the love of music, too.
I love
Yes.
music.
So, wow. It's just all
And
around.
to be greeted by both of the owners to come and to hang out with us and have, for me, I love hospitality. I love doing hospitable things. And so it means so much to me. Like they had like this amazing hummus and stuff and wine in the it was above and beyond in every way possible. And then as if you couldn't love it anymore, before we walk out, both of the owners said, I don't know if you mind, but would it be okay if we pray with you before you go on stage? And we were like, this is the greatest venue ever. We were like, yes, you can pray for us. It was perfect. And we've been wanting to come back, and it's been so hard because our dates haven't worked out. And so we're so happy that the dates worked out and we get to come back.
And they always have such a great lineup of music. They've had
Mm-hmm.
so many prestigious acts go through there. And yeah, I think any night you go there, you're probably going to have a great experience.
It's a good place.
And you can tell everybody there, if they're a volunteer, if they're working, everybody there wants to be there.
Yeah,
It's special.
that is true. Your Home on Wheels, I'm just curious, for some reason, does it have a turntable? I don't know why I have that in my questions anymore, but it must have been something that came up, like they're fans of vinyl. How do they play their vinyl when they're on the road?
I do not have a turntable
We
in the
don't.
van.
But when at home.
At home, got one. Yep.
And you guys are still, for me, pressing on CD. Although I grew up with vinyl. I mean, obviously, I'm of the age where vinyl was the only way you could get something. And actually worked in a record store when CDs made their debut. So obviously,
yeah.
I was there at the beginning. But I didn't really think we were going to go back. I didn't think it was going to make its like, wee, here it is again.
Yeah, I know.
And I just don't get it. I mean, I get it, but I don't get it. It's a warm sound, but it's also not convenient. I can play this on the way home.
Not convenient.
Yeah.
But the interesting thing about it is that you have to. The fact that it's not convenient is an interesting thing about it because you have to listen to it in a certain circumstance. Yeah. You can't just be
It's
in
a
the
listening
car
experience.
talking to your friend while it's in the background. You know, you purposely put it on the record player. You have to turn it halfway through. Yeah. So
It's active listening as opposed to
active
passive.
listening. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
it's true.
And I think cassettes are coming back too. Have you heard?
Yeah,
Have you seen
I
anybody
don't
selling
believe
cassettes
it.
yet?
Yes, don't believe
I
it.
have seen it. Yeah.
I know that they are, but they're not going to.
I don't want to do a cassette.
Oh, I bet we will eventually.
No.
Gosh, no. We do vinyl.
Besides not having your turntable with you, what's the toughest thing about being on the road?
I'll speak.
Okay.
100%. I miss my jacuzzi bathtub
Oh,
that
yeah.
Ben installed in my bathroom. Ben can build and fix and do anything.
Wow.
And for one of my gifts one year, he redid my bathroom and put like 6 jetted tub. I love taking baths. It's my favorite thing to do in the world. And there's no room in the van.
Maybe the next one will have a bathtub.
Sorry, I had to jump in on that. What do you miss?
Oh, wow. What do I miss?
Your back porch?
I miss laying on my hammock on the back deck in our house in Nashville.
Kind of hard to bring well, you could bring a portable hammock, I suppose.
Could,
Find
yeah.
trees.
Some people do it on the outside of the van, but I don't have it.
Well, when do you get to go home again?
We'll be home in
Late Sunday night.
Sunday night we'll be in Nashville.
For Americana
Yeah,
Fest.
Maybe by the time this audio is ready by then, maybe not the video, but we'll get it up soon.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
might be laying in the hammock listening to this.
We ain't going to have
podcast.
no time.
No time. Yeah.
It's a crazy
Americana
crazy
Fest is-
week.
It's a crazy week, yeah.
Well, what song will you be playing for them? Anyone you haven't done for me already?
For Americana Fest?
Yeah.
We'll be doing those 2 that we did.
And because I'm leading you to the next song, I'm
Yes.
serving a softball. Or
I don't think that we're going to... The song that we're about to do is not one that we're going to do at
Okay.
our showcase.
Well, I tried.
yeah, I know.
Tell me about the song you're going to
You
do.
threw a ball and I missed.
That's right.
But we are really excited about this song. So you want to tell them about this?
Sing me
Yeah,
a
we
story.
should
Okay,
talk
well, there's an organization out there called Sing Me a Story, and they work with kids in hospitals throughout the country. And what they do is they have these kids write down a story on a sheet of paper, any story that's on their brain. And they post these stories on the Sing Me a Story website, and they enlist songwriters to sift through the stories, pick one, and write a song using the language of that story, the ideas of that story. The organization brings a songwriter into a studio, records a song, does some video promo for it, and they use that song as a fundraiser for the organization, as well as it brings a little bit of light into a kid's life who's going through a tough time. And so I sifted through the stories, and I landed on 11-year-old Liam's story. He was in a hospital in Florida, and he had a story about aliens. And so we wrote this song. It's called The Human Invasion, and it is the it is the language and ideas from 11-year-old Liam.
Yep.
And this one's not on either record.
It's not on. Probably won't be on a record, but it's on the Sing Me a Story website.
Yeah, it's recorded. So Liam has it, which is what's most important.
This is unlike anything else we've ever done. This is about a faraway alien planet where humans one time invaded. This is called The Human Invasion.
On a planet far, far away, there lived 4 extraterrestrials.
Their names were Bob, Tom, Lucky, and the 4th was Mr. Al, but the rest like to call him Mr. Boss.
And one day, long, long ago, a rocket ship landed on their soil. And behold, inside were the humankind. So Bob, Tom, Lucky, and Mr. Boss went away to hide. But Mr. Boss stepped out from behind his rock when he heard the humans begin to talk. They said, "We are looking for aliens out here." And Mr. Boss trembled with fear. And the humans rolled their eyes and they said, "Get in this ship! Come on, let's take a ride." Then Bob, Tom, and Lucky stepped out from their hiding place, and all the aliens started singing in this way. "We are the aliens and we want you to go. We are the aliens and we want you to go. We are the aliens and we want you to go. We are the aliens and we want you to go." Everybody now. "We are the aliens and we want you to go. We are the aliens and we want you to go."
Goodbye, Liam.
If there's any question whether they had a sense of humor, you've just found out. Goldpine are my guest today on Acoustic Alternatives. Good way to combat the story about your death. I appreciate that. That's the balance in life, right? And if you want to see more humorous things from this band, by the way, you go to your YouTube page and look at the bottom where they have their. Let's just take, for example, the Carpool Karaoke, where you made no effort to look like James Corden, but you at least tried to look like Dolly Parton.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
Oh, my.
You can also find music videos they put together, their albums, and their albums are available physically.
Mm-hmm.
I think they probably make more money if you buy them physically than digitally, but find a way to support this band. They're doing great things out there.
Thank you.
one more question, but I've only been to Nashville once. I know that's weird because I'm such a big music guy, but I don't do a lot of traveling. Next time I come, can I stay in your Airbnb? I guess it depends on if you're on the road, or do you still have it?
Yep.
We do still have it. Yeah.
Yep.
That's another thing
come
about the
on
hospitality
by.
I like.
I'm gonna
We
come
would
by.
love it.
I would be nice to stay in somebody's home that I'd like.
Well, it's real cute too. You'd like it. It's
We did-
filled with stuff from Africa
Oh,
that we
cool.
brought.
Yeah.
It's
Maybe I already rented it because the one time I went, I felt like it was decorated like that. I don't remember where I was.
That would
though.
be awesome. You should look back.
I have to look.
Sometimes that does happen though. Like some musicians have rented it and then didn't know it was us, and we've played and I'm like, that's so funny. I'm like, it's blah blah blah. So
I can't remember where it was right now.
That's
But
funny.
anyway, thank you so much for sharing your talents and your gifts
Thank
and your
you for having
stories.
us.
Oh, my
Thanks for
pleasure.
having
It's
us.
went a long. I mean, I'm looking at the timer, going, "Wow, we talked for a long time." That's not really what I thought was going to happen. We said we're only going to do 3 songs. Oh, this will be about 45 minutes. Nope.
I love it. It's
love
good
it.
conversation.
We love.
I enjoyed the
thank
conversation.
You for having us.
Thank you to both of you. Thank you to Grove Studios for being excellent hosts for me. And look them up online again if you're looking for a place to practice your band or do a podcast or get your DJ skills up to snuff. Your beat mixing that I can't do. I've been a mobile disc jockey for how many years now? Almost 40. I've never beat mixed. That's just not what I do. I program your wedding in a way that makes sense. That's what I do. Support me on Patreon if you think that you find value in what I'm doing here, and maybe encourage this couple to look into that too, because it's not a bad idea. It's a little extra money to help pay for those missionary trips. Whatever it is to help you guys do what you do. And I hope that you have continued success on the road, and look forward to seeing you again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
More podcasts coming. Again, the next one, if it materializes, you're going to go, wow, how'd you get that? So thanks for being here.